Creating your own no script. One of the biggest challenges that a lot of people have with getting their work-life balance right is in learning how to say no effectively. Once you have succeeded with this, you will find it much easier to be able to guard your own time better and to lay down the boundaries between work and the rest of your life. Of course, saying no does not just apply to working situations. Sometimes challenges can arise from outside work. For example, a friend might ask you to do excessive favors that never come through when you need him or her. Alternatively, people in your community might assume that you will take on responsibilities and then sign you up for them without asking you. Or a partner might be quite needy and expect to see you more than you want to see them. These are also clear boundaries that need to be set and maintained so that you can make time for the things that you want to do and increase the quality of your life. Saying no is not always easy, but with practice, it does become easier over time. When you feel uncomfortable saying no, think about the message portrayed. By saying yes to others, you are denying yourself what you need. Saying no is particularly challenging if you have become accustomed to saying yes continually. But it is absolutely essential to good time management and creating balance and boundaries that are appropriate for you. If work is continually meaning that you have to postpone other things that you want to do in your spare time, to let people down, you might consider talking to your boss and saying no nicely. As we've already discussed in previous lectures, most people work better and are more productive when they're not working continually. If you get rest and relaxation that you need, you'll perform better at work. You'll be better for it. Workers that are stressed out and tired will be more than likely to cost the company through expensive mistakes that they would be more likely to make. In some cases, such mistakes can even be damaging to the health of others. It's everyone's interest that you learn to say no, not just to your boss, but also to others around you, so that you can make the relevant adjustments that you need to be able to deliver what you promised, and also have a good work-life balance. Understanding situations in which you need to say no more frequently can help. This can aid in being better prepared to handle difficult no situations as it arises, because you'll be more aware of what you want to do and what you want to say. Understanding why you do not like saying no is also an essential part of putting things straight. For example, people have the following reasons commonly for not wanting to say no. So reason being polite. Why? Sometimes people think it's polite to say yes and impolite to say no. In some cases, this can be a cultural issue. For example, some cultures are brought up with the principle that it's wrong to say no to someone who is older or more senior. Another reason could be disliking conflict. In some cases, yes, it may be easier to say yes because you don't want confrontation. Conforming with what others want means there will be no arguments or disagreements, and your life will be easier if you say yes. Another reason could be like helping out others. So people often like to help others and want to help them out where they can, even at their own expense in many cases. It can be horrible to say no if you like helping others. Sometimes it could be down to missing out. Sometimes no means you might think or feel you're missing out. This is particularly relevant reason for not saying no in the workplace where people want to get ahead in their careers. Or burning bridges. Saying no might mean you damage your relationship in some cases, meaning that an opportunity may not arise in the future. Saying no is hard because we know it is not what others want to hear. It will require you to be assertive and clear. And particularly, you'll need to, as far as possible, be aware of your own boundaries at the outset so that you can be clear what you're prepared to do or not do. In some situations, you will know ahead of time that there is a difficult situation approaching where you'll need to be able to say no. You'll see it coming. In other cases, it may catch you by surprise. In this type of situation, you'll need to be able to think on your feet, be able to say no effectively. And in such situation that is understood, if you know what's coming, then you can even practice saying no situation before it happens. Being prepared means that you'll be less likely to waver and say the wrong thing, leading to unwanted yes responses coming out of your mouth when you did not want to do it. There are a number of different responses that you might experience as a result of saying no, and these might include denial, ignoring what you said, or assuming you said yes. In this case, you will need to ask them to step back and reiterate your point. You said, so there are no misunderstandings. Saying no on its own sometimes is not enough. They need to understand what you mean. Anger, being annoyed with you for not doing what they wanted. This can sometimes turn to quite aggressive and threatening behavior. In this case, it's important to remain calm, logical, and reasonable. Disappointed, they may be sad that you will not do what they want. And this disappointment can turn into manipulation, sometimes to make you do what they want after all. Compromising, this can be hard to deal with as it can lead you to conceding more than you wished. So you need to be appropriately prepared. On the other hand, in some situations, compromise might give you social capital you can use later on. It can be worth considering, but only if you know clearly where your ultimate boundaries are. Manipulation, they try and find other devious ways of making you say yes by making it seem as if you have little or no choice but to do so. Accepting, many reasonable people will quite simply be accepting of your right as an individual to say no. When you start saying no and people start getting used to saying no and no longer being a pushover, then you will find that you get this reaction more and more frequently. Having considered all this, it is necessary now to look at how to say no politely but firmly to get the message across and to guard your own time. Here are some options you can include in your own personal script for saying no. No, I cannot do that right now. A simple, straight to the point, and should clearly get the message across. I need to have a look at my diary to see if it's possible. I will let you know. This is not a definite no until you finally say no to the person, but it does break the no to them more gently, so they're expecting it. If you let a person think that there is a strong chance that you'll say yes, then the no might be harder felt. So do not make any false inferences when you use this one. I would like to, but with this one, you are again letting the person down gently. Give a clear and straightforward reason in the but section of this sentence. This one is still a no, but can be followed up with, perhaps you can do it next week when they're little things a bit quieter, if you do wish to do it, of course. If you never want to do it and would hate to do it, using this will be a mistake because the person may well come back to you and asking if you want to. I cannot do this as I have too much going on right now. Again, this one is not saying no way ever. It's a gentle way of saying no rather than simply coming out. Again, the person might expect you to want to do whatever it is when you become less busy. So you'll need to be prepared for that scenario. I have X to sort today. Perhaps we can catch up tomorrow instead. This allows you to finish whatever it is you're doing and get it completed for a deadline. Prioritizing your time accordingly to what is urgent. I'm sorry, but this isn't really for me. This can be a good one to use with assistant salespeople, as well as friends or family even that want you to do something that you're really not interested in doing. It is a good one because it does not pass judgment on them, but it makes it personal to you. I'm not really fond of. This is another version of the option directly above, which shows the person that the reason you are saying no is not necessarily to do with them personally. It's just more about you and how you prefer to spend your time. Thank you for asking, but this is a kind of way saying no because it acknowledges that the person was generous in offering you an opportunity do something or go somewhere, it may not be particularly helpful in saying no to your boss. Saying no is a personal choice, and it's okay to say no using any of the different options above or any other options that you feel are right for you. You may naturally feel guilty at first when you say no. This is because most people are brought up in thinking saying no will lead them not to be liked by other people. This is very unfortunate because it means shutting down our own wishes to make someone else happy, maybe at our own expense at times. Remember, you just need to start used to saying no different ways and to it being normal, and it will become easier. It will also be hard for those around you at first, especially if they're used to you saying yes all the time, and now you suddenly start saying no. They may take it personally or think it reflects on them some way. This is not a reason to revert to yes if it's not right for you. Emphasizing that way can feel helpful in some situations. Some extra tips for saying no can be, for example, some of the things we can take in consideration: be respectful, be understanding of the implications of saying yes or no, realizing that no is okay, regardless of what others might tell you or how they might behave as a result of your no. You keep these thoughts in mind when with your own no script prepared. You should also be able to say no relatively easy for a short while. So an exercise I do with people I train when I do assertiveness trainings is I sort of get them to write situations where they want to say no more often, and who will affect and how they're going to go about doing it. So imagine a scenario in their mind where they can think exactly what they'll say and how they'll say it. Also think about the person and how they might react and how you respond accordingly. So choosing strategies that are reasonable is one thing I do with my clients. I do assertiveness training, calm and logical to optimize their chance of success. So I get my clients, when I'm doing assertiveness training, to write a list of things they want to start saying no to. And then when they've wrote down in the list of things that they're going to say no to, they write down who it affects and how they're going to tell the person no, with taking into consideration the rationale that we spoke about earlier in the lecture.